All right. Good evening, coaches. I know there's a lot of people out tonight with schools opening, so I'm going to go through the meeting, even though there's only one participant. I'm going to go through the meeting like we had all of our coaches here. We're going to record this meeting. We'll post it up to YouTube, and so that at least we'll run the meeting like everybody was here, and then that way people can watch it and backfill it. So we'll get started. To introduce myself, my name is Jack Miller. I'm the sports director for the G. Rogers Family YMCA. If you were with us 2 years ago or more, then you've had me as your sports director. For the last 2 years, I was at our downtown branch running their bigger, larger offsite program. And I'm coming back to Jeep starting this fall. So I'll be back for volleyball and excited, looking forward to it. The kind of what we're going to do in this meeting is just go over some of the basics. We're going to go over the rules, some of the expectations, try to answer some questions. And then what we'll do is after the meeting is over, I will send out the recording to coaches so that everybody can catch up on it. And then if you have any questions, feel free to follow up and shoot me an email. But rosters are going out for teams by tomorrow night so that you guys can get a first look at them. And then we'll have all of next week to continue to make changes and prepare for the start of practices. As far as dates and what's coming up, so the 14th is a Monday. That is the start of the week of practices. So you'll be assigned a date for your practices. Maybe it's Tuesday, Wednesday, 5:30. And so it will start on the week of the 14th. You will practice 1 day a week, and you'll go until October 21st. Games will start on August 26th and go every Saturday, skipping Saturday, I believe it's September 1st or 2nd this year, the Saturday before Labor Day. So looking forward to that. Practice starting the week of the 14th. Wanted to put out, this is kind of the big one, and we want to get out to coaches. We've looked at how do we better equip and better prepare coaches. So for this season starting in the fall, we have two more key elements to that. One is a free coaches clinic. So on Saturday, August 12th, there will be a clinic time for each age group. So the 8 to 10s will go first at 9 o'clock, then the 11 to 13s at 10:30, and then the 14 to 17s at noon. And that is free to coaches. I just need you to RSVP, send me an email and RSVP with what age group you'll be attending and how many kids you'll be bringing with you. And then we're going to have other kids that are there on the court. And we're going to have an instructor who's going to lead that. And it's going to show you how to teach skills in that age group and how to teach the fundamentals. So we're excited to be able to offer that. It is free to coaches, but you do need to RSVP so I know how many are coming. As far as equipment and what you'll need, so when you get to the court will be set up. We'll have volleyball set up for you. We'll have cones for you. And then you'll need to, anything else that you would want, you would need to provide. The players will get jerseys from us, and they will need to provide their own knee pads, but they will get jerseys from us. The jerseys this year are new. So we've done long sleeved 100% poly t-shirts really in the past, but long sleeved. And this year it is an actual volleyball jersey, but it is short sleeved. So it'll be different this year. And players can wear a short sleeve or long sleeve under that if they wish to, but the jersey itself will be cut off. And then the other big questions we've been getting are player space. So what you'll get from me when I send this recording out, I'm also going to send out a link that has the sign up for coaches into player space. And you're going to need to get in there, get signed up, get your information in, and fill out all the stuff for coaching. And I'm going to need to get that in because we cannot issue the discount, the refund, unless you are completely done and filled out in player space. But once you're filled out in player space, we've got you in as a coach, we've got you assigned to a team, then we're going to go back and start cutting those refunds. So all coaches, they get placed on a team that are coaching this year, they will get a 50% discount for the participation of their player. So that's the other big thing we brought. We wanted to bring the clinic, we wanted to bring the education, but we also wanted to help you out and thank you guys. So we'll have a 50% refund or 50% cut for coaches this year off their participation. So we're as a way to say thank you. As far as the expectation for coaches, so if you haven't had me as a sports director and this is newer for you, just to give you an idea of how my expectations work and what we're looking for, we are focused on fun, development, and for the kids. We don't tolerate talking back to officials. We don't tolerate talking back to other players or other coaches. We're here to focus on our team, developing, having fun, learning. We're here for every player to play an equal amount of the game. And we're here to enjoy and have fun on Saturday with our family. So that's my expectations for coaches. I don't expect all my coaches to be, teaching the game at a collegiate level. We are working to put together some practice guides to hand to coaches to kind of help give you an idea. And working with the instructor for that Saturday on the 12th, so that you're seeing these things and you get some practice plan ideas. But we're going to help in that regard and try to give you that training material. But the bigger thing for my coaches, what we need out of coaches, is that they are teaching, they are helping the girls have fun, and they are focused on their team and the development of their team, not winning, not on badgering the officials, but just focused on the experience of their players. So that's the long and the short of everything outside the rules that I want to go over quickly if you are new, if you have not coached before. And then the bigger part of what we're going to do now is do a dive into the rules. Stop this share real quick. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. You won't be able to unmute, but you will be able to go into the chat and type a question in the chat, and we will answer those as we go. And all this is being recorded, and we will pop this up and send out the link once the meeting is over. All right, so here's our new volleyball rulebook. You'll notice a couple of things that are new, or a couple of things that at least defined a little bit better. So for team duties, we will have staff members that work the scoreboard table. We will provide referees. The teams are responsible for cleaning up their benches. We don't want to see any water bottles or Gatorade bottles left around. We need everything cleaned up and taken out of the gym when you leave. 2 coaches on the sideline, and only one may be standing at a time. And we will have benches set out for the teams for those games. Spectators, when they sit, need to be opposite the bench preferably, but they cannot sit on the end line. That's the big one. They cannot sit down on the end lines. They have to sit on the sides. And then coaches must be on their sideline. We don't keep official game scores or records, and sportsmanlike conduct is not tolerated. If a player, coach, or fan is ejected, they're going to be suspended for 1 game at the minimum, and then they'll be placed on probation for the remainder of the season. If the atmosphere gets out of hand or unsafe, the YMCA staff members can end the game. If a team has 4 players or less, 5 minutes after the designated time, it is going to be declared a forfeit. We're going to just scrimmage at that point. You may start a game with just 5 players, and the other team would have to play down to match 5v5. Coaches are expected to adhere to our YMCA values. And we have our values, or our pledge here as well. Our philosophies for sports and our expectations as the YMCA, everyone plays an equal amount. Our coaches are volunteers. Our focus is fun and skill development, sportsmanship above all else, and we promote a family atmosphere. So again, going back to my expectations for my coaches, I'm really not here for the win at all costs or the competitive. We're here for the kids, and we're going to be focused on our sportsmanship and our fun, skill development above all else. Player safety, so they can't wear a cast. If we have a hard cast, players cannot participate in the game. Soft casts are permitted. I just need to have approval. No jewelry, earrings, bracelets, necklaces, etc. And then adaptive aids are approved case by case. Nothing really changes for the age divisions. If you played with us before, the net heights remain the same. The ball sizes or what we're using stays the same. The game scoring stays the same. So nothing changes there. We'll play games to 25, and we'll play the third set to 15. It is best of 3, but we always play the third set, and we'll go over that in a minute. We do play to time. So when the game is supposed to start, we will set a 45-minute timer, and we will play to time. So whichever comes first, either we play all 3 sets or we play to 45 minutes, whichever one comes first. We will always play the third set regardless of the outcome of the first 2. Like I said, there will be 1 30-second timeout per team per sets. The unused timeouts do not carry over. We use rally scoring. The teams must win by 2 points with a capping at 30 points. And then the third set that we'll play will cap at 20 points. Serving, something that we wanted to clarify this year in our rules. All of our players should strive to serve behind the end line, but we recognize that's not possible for all of our age groups. The server may not serve until the referee has blown the whistle. Overhand and underhand serves are allowed. Now, any serve that contacts the ceiling, the net, basketball backboards, anything on our side of the net or on the team side of the net and does not go over the net is an automatic side out and a bad serve. So serving, the first serve of the game will be determined by coin toss, and then games 2 and 3 will be started by a serve by the team that did not serve the previous game. Ages 8 to 10 may serve up to the yellow pickleball line. So when you look at the court, and when we go out for practices, when we go out for the clinic, we can show you these. But on the court, there's a very clearly defined yellow pickleball line. So ages 8 to 10 must serve behind that line. Ages 11 to 13 must serve behind the black basketball sidelines, and the ages 8 to 14 must serve behind the white in line. So we can look at those when we come for practices and games and kind of define those for teams, but that will be where servers must serve behind this season. You only get to serve 5 in a row. If you have 5 successful serves in a row, then the ball is going to go out and go to the other team. They have 8 seconds to serve, and then a net server fault is when the ball touches on their side of the net, fails to pass over the net, and then that serve, or if there's a screen on the serve, then that would be a fault. In the 8 to 10 divisions only, they're allowed a second serve if the first one doesn't go over the net, and then they would get to redo on their first serve. If they're only on the first serve, their time up. If the first serve does go over the net, but it goes out of bounds, then that counts as a serve and it does not count as a redo. So if it goes over the net, but then directly out of bounds, because it went over the net, that is a good serve. And so that will not be allowed a redo. If it hits the net, doesn't reach the net, then that would be allowed a redo on their first serve. Each team will have 3 hits, pretty standard, and the 11-13s. So sorry, I don't know why this is down here. I apologize. This is a new rule. We rewrote this for the season. The 11 to 13-year-olds, they also get a second serve shot if the first serve was overhand and failed to cross the net. If their first serve was underhand and fails to cross the net, it does not count as a reserve. If a ball hits the ceiling, a hoop, a post, anything on their side of the net and stays on their side of the net, the ball is still in play. If the ball hits the hoop, ceiling, side of the net, whatever, and goes over, then it would not count and it would be a fault. It would have to be on their side. They can play it if it's on their side of the net. They cannot, is not in play if it goes over the net. Yes, the 8 to 10-year-old games will have 2 courts going at the same time. Serves may not be blocked or spiked. The teams will rotate after they win a serve, except for the first serve for each team. Teams will rotate in a clockwise manner with 1 player rotating off the bench and 1 player rotating in. Player may not enter the court until the YMCA official signals come in. Each player will need to wear their YMCA uniform and their knee pads. Referees are the sole judge on the field. All rules will be enforced by the YMCA officials, and all calls are up to the officials' discretion. The referees can ask coaches, parents, or players to leave the field of player facilities to maintain a pleasant atmosphere and control the game. If a coach or player is expected, that person will be automatically removed for the next game for 1 game suspension. The referee may stop, suspend, or terminate the game because of elements of interference. The goal of the YMCA is to provide all children with equal playing time, and all players must play a minimum of 50% of the game. So the way that we do rotations, this is what kind of controls that. As players are rotating in constantly, there's no set time to sub in and out. Players constantly rotate on serves, and so that allows us to get to that 50% of playing time in a game. All right, those are our rules. So that's volleyball is a little bit different. We have easier rules. We have easier expectations. So these meetings do go a little bit shorter, but that's the basics of our coaching. That's the basics of our rules. And then any questions. Otherwise, what we're going to do is end the recording and we will post this on YouTube. And then coaches, as you see this, feel free to email me with any questions. If you're going to, if you don't get the player space link to sign up to be a coach, please email me, let me know if you'd like to come to the August 12th clinic. I just need to get that RSVP for the age group that you're going to attend and how many players you'll be bringing with you. And then if you have any questions about the season, jerseys will be in before the first game. So we'll get those to you at your practices before your first game. So first practice is August 14th. Or the week of August 14th. All right. If there's no other questions, we're going to go ahead and end the recording.